Welcome everyone to, this is the public part of the Potter's Children's Garden, and most of you probably know me already. My name's Speedy and I work as a horticulturist at Auckland Botanical Gardens, which is really a fancy term for gardener, groundskeeper, sometimes mower operator. We are very much the jack of all trades gardeners, if you like, and we do have quite a wide portfolio around the site, so we look after lots of areas including the Potter's Children's Garden. And I guess my role in the Potter's Children's Garden, as opposed to Caroline's, which was very much one of education, I'm kind of the details person, if you like, so I do all the upkeep from a weekly, monthly, yearly basis, basically keeping the garden looking good and turning things over. As a horticulturist, I have a terrible tendency to go into barren holes of detail, so I could talk at length about the meadow or delve into the cactuses, but I'd like to actually refrain from doing that first of all and just give all of you a little bit of a kind of a big picture background or concept about the children's garden. So as I mentioned, this is the Potter's Children's Garden, and it was initially funded by the Potter Masonic Trust, which is it's a philanthropic organisation that has a strong interest in the development of children. So it was really good that they were able to come on board and help Auckland Council out and make this garden a reality. The Potter's Children's Garden is divided into two different stages, if you like. We are currently standing in the newer stage, which is stage 2. Beyond the cactuses over there is stage 1 of the children's garden, and that was completed in 2005. This newer area was completed in 2010, so we're up to, I mean, it's, I guess 10 years here and, well, 12 years here, 17 over there. I might ask all of you to just follow me, and we'll actually walk over to stage 1 first of all and just have a look there, because to me it makes sense to actually look at the garden from where it started first of all. Going through, feel free to just ask any questions.
So what are those necals? Are they not?
These are Chatham Island necals.
Chatham Islands,
yeah.
okay.
So very much the sun-loving necals. So yeah, we'll come under the shelter here. In stage 1 is predominantly native, and the real, the real backbone of this garden is an existing stand of puriri and totara trees. This stand was in existence well before stage 1 of this garden was developed. So the landscapers, environmental educators had an idea to actually use the stand of puriri tree as a way of setting a theme for the garden, and they used the theme of our native wood pigeon, the kariru, and its relationship to the puriri tree. So you will see there's insert over there talking about that ecological relationship. They also talk about Mokoroa, or the native poo grub, and its relationship with the prairie tree. What we're really trying to do through this part of the children's garden is educate both children and adults about some of the, you'd probably call it those cornerstone ecological relationships that occur between our native fauna and our flora. We also have, and I can probably point it out there, that do you see that the flip sign over there? Just beside the Muhlenbeck here. So we have a number of those flip signs which will show a photo of the plant, but also a traditional Maori use for that native plant. So this garden is really, in a sense, it's quite an iconic New Zealand children's garden, and that is the main goal of it. It's to educate children, adults about our native flora and our fauna. The only exception is over there. We do have a small raised veggie garden, and I mean that's really there just to educate kids about growing vegetables. So we've got what I'd probably suggest now is that, like, if you want to, we can kind of go for a little bit of a walk around. I mean, I can sort of maybe cherry pick a few things of particular interest. I mean, they're much more sort of, horticultural interest.
There's the Ruria native forest and pigeons up the top there. Exposed, rugged coastal areas, full sun. They are very, very adaptable to the dry. So, a very different type of nikau to what you would, typically see in the forest. I suppose for kids, fun interactive structures like the wood pigeon that Adrian mentioned. We've got a maze over there. We have a sundial over there, wetter boxes. So, once again, it's sort of giving kids that opportunity to really engage with this garden. And during the school year, we would probably have about 2 to 3 school groups coming in every week. Right. And Caroline and the teachers will often take them around different parts of this garden. Right. So once again, if they have a school program that's really focused on, let's say, native plants, this area is gone. And that's a good question. Over there, stage 2 of the children's garden is much more exotic, and in a sense, like, what we're sort of almost doing is we're going from sort of endemic indigenous New Zealand native garden, and we're now taking kids on a journey to other habitats of the world. So you've got a desert over there, you've got a jungle, you've got a meadow, you've got a bog. So there is that transition as you go from here to there. One thing I would say about this desert area here is that this is sort of a case of where if you have a concept and you try and almost transplant it into a different environment, which clearly New Zealand is not Arizona. What you invariably, the original idea was cactuses and rocks, so pretty much barren desert with cactuses coming out of it.
And I can remember when I started in this garden, I had two options. One was to spend countless hours pulling out weeds, and you know, let's face it, that New Zealand soil, I mean, this
Auckland.
yeah, Auckland soil, this is pretty much clay loam, fertile clay loam, and invariably what you get, you know, you get weeds. So either I'd pull weeds out, or, and this was back, oh, probably 5 years ago, I had to go through with Roundup. Now, since then, we have banned Roundup use in the children's garden. Once Roundup was banned was to go through and spend hours and hours weeding. And what I decided is that why not try and find a ground cover that actually ties in with the rocks. This here is, it's called Helichrysum retortum. It's a succulent ground cover, and you'll probably notice I have it growing more up on the raised areas, and the idea is that, you know, when it rains, the water will obviously flow down, and for that ground cover, it's got enough drainage that it comes away quite nicely, and it's reduced the amount of weeding and downtime I actually spend in this area. I mean, I'm a firm believer in,
authenticity.
Yeah, and also finding, I mean, try to actually really use plants to the best effect, and it's ludicrous to actually spend hours and hours weeding just to sort of maintain what the original concept was. When you do have plant options out there that can really, I mean, fulfill the same aesthetic need, but also make everyone's life a lot easier. We'll wander around. We'll take a look at we'll head over to the veggie garden and take a look there.